Hey there, just a very quick disclaimer before you hop on. This is not yet another most entertaining video that you may ever seen. So get ready some brain work. It's not working here.
Hello, my dears. In today's episode, I'm gonna share with you how long drive to work changed my life. Possibly this video will help you to feel less frustrated about spending a lot of time in the train, in the bus. If you're going to school, university, work, does not matter. If you have to spend lots of time in the public transport. If you are a person like me, a doer, I call myself, because I'm always doing something. I can't rest. Just sitting and watching a movie has never been an option for me. I don't know. I thought it was cool, but it's not actually. If you are a workaholic like me, it's not cool. And why? It's the topic of my another video. I will talk about this in more details. I always have to do something. I never get rest for myself. My university is 2 hours long from my house, so a train takes 2 hours to reach the destination. Initially, this sounded absolutely terrible option, wasting 4 hours of my life every single day. But first realization was quickly after my first trip like this to the university. Apparently, somehow, I have 2 hours, or in total 4 hours. I did not know I had that much of time because I was always busy. My brain was telling me that I need to be always busy doing something because there are lots of things to do, and if I will not be doing something all the time, there's no way that I will do all the things that I want to do. So I never had time in my life. I thought so, and suddenly, out of nothing, I got these 4 hours somehow. Realization number one, and very important life-changing realization of mine, is that we have more time than we can imagine. Interesting thing about time is that all of us have the same amount of time. No matter what you do during the day, does not matter how you both contribute to the community. May you spend that 24 hours in just sleeping, chilling, I don't know, wasting. But that's the time is the most fair thing in this world, apparently. Next time you will still have the same time. So maybe it's not about having time, it's about our mentality and attitude towards work. No, I did not feel guilty. My workaholic self did not feel guilty about being in the train because I was doing something actually. I had to go to the university, so my mind that always tells me that I need to be doing something was happy. So it was this cheating time for me when I could just be, when I could just be. Please understand this importance of this because I never did it. Just be. Because of all the things, compulsive thinking and all the things that I wanted to do, my brain was constantly busy. And suddenly, I just had time for self-reflection without any feeling of guiltiness. I was not feeling myself guilty for doing nothing as I usually do. Imagine if I wake up in the morning and of course I have to work, and if I'm at home and if I'm just sitting for 2 hours doing nothing, I thought I was doing something wrong with my life. And suddenly I got this 2 hours. I did not feel guilty that I could use to do nothing. And second important realization, discovery came to me. Actually, doing nothing, just being, is one of the most important things that I could do to my life. All my stress was relieved after these 2 hours. And that's when my life changed forever. That's how I learned how to cure every stress, how to improve quality of my life, what's the true key for that. And true key is to remove yourself from the stress by just being an observer, just being in the moment and observing the thought process. I learned many things about me, and just by knowing many things about me, I was liberated from many stresses, unnecessary stresses in my life. The awareness, it's also called, probably, is the cure. Most of the stress, negative emotions that we have is because we never take our direction, thoughts, attention towards it. Just if we would direct our attention towards our thoughts and just if we would try to understand our thought process, if we would take time for this, our life would be so much easier, with so much less fear and so much less anxiety. It is liberation. Now, I'm not saying that suddenly I became a saint or enlightened person. No, just that my life was way more cheerful and easier. So, to sum up, whatever we mentioned until now is that realization number one, very important, is that we have more time than we imagine. We just set limits to ourselves and we think that we need to be always doing something in order to achieve something. That's absolutely not right, so to say. And realization, very important, number two, to liberate yourself, you need to understand yourself, and to understand yourself, how to understand yourself first and the first hand. Direct your attention in words. Be an observer of your thought process. Take your time. It's the most important thing that you could possibly do to you in order to live a better life, more peaceful life, with less anxiety, less fear. So don't have this excuse that you don't have time for just sitting and doing nothing. Doing nothing is actually true life. Well, now I'm not saying that we should not be doing something, but if you are doing something, as per my experience, when I'm doing something with combination of being, it's way more productive. I call it enlightened working versus workaholic working. That's very important discovery, and I will talk about in my next video in details also about these types of working and how people manage to use the same amount of time as you have to achieve greater things than you do, and why. I have my own thoughts about that too, but if I talk about this now, this video will be super long that I don't want. And actually, one more thing that I'm thankful about the train, 2 hours long train every day, is that it helped me to discover my passion. Repetitive 2 hours long meditation, we can call it, right, led me to do following thing. So when my thought was getting compulsive, it was just outrageous. I could not follow up, and I was like, if I don't write all these thoughts right now, there is no way that I will liberate myself and spend a few minutes in peace, because there's just too many of them. And that's when I discovered how helpful it is to think on the paper. And ever since that, I always think on the paper, and I have my second memory on the paper, and I mastered skills of organizing those notes that I make so I never forget anything. That's also in my next videos about productivity. But putting everything that was on my mind on the paper helped me in a way that when the same thought would pop up again in my mind, let's say, well, first of all, let's acknowledge that thought has this habit that it usually pops up in your mind, unnecessary thought, over and over again, distracting you. For example, something that you have to do in 1 week that is not at all relevant now, but you keep remembering it and you keep being distracted by the thought that it keeps you updated, that you have to do something in 1 week. It's the mind's function, and your function is to organize your mind in a way to utilize it, not that mind utilizes you. Do you understand? It's very important discovery. And all this writing on the paper led me to discovering my passion. My passion is writing. I love writing, and suddenly everything became so clear to me. Actually, I always had my diaries, and whenever I would feel down, I would always go and write something. So my diary basically is all about bad things, but what I realized on that point, spend 27 years of my life searching for passion. It was in front of me and I never saw it. Whenever you feel bad and you go writing, why did it never came to my mind that that was my passion? I thought everybody writes when they feel bad, but not really. I was always writing, never realizing that it was my passion, and I suddenly realized that I can write long paper, and I never get out of the topics, first of all, and second of all, the energy is right when I do it. I feel myself like an artist. No, I never was artistically inclined person, but now I understood what is to be an artist, because when I write something, it's not that I have this compulsive thinking and I feel exhausted. I feel like it comes out to my hand. I just move my hands without any compulsive thinking. It's not exhausting, and it's really hard to explain right now what kind of feeling is, but when you are doing something that you are really meant to do, you will know that that's the right thing for you to do. There is the energy, and in energy field there is always an answer. To summarize all of the things that I have talked in this video, if all of you could consider, you don't have to become writers first of all, but if you consider that just using this time in the train to observe your thought processes, become an observer, what's going on inside of you, that's the best habit that you could develop, and you won't feel guilty because you don't waste your time. You go to do something after that. That's possibly the best investment that you could make to improve your quality of life. Not to spend all of your money to go to amazing vacation, but going on the vacation inside you. Try it.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I often find very inspirational channels for me, but I forget to subscribe it. So if you like this content, make sure you subscribe and press the notification bell and like it. See you in my next life cracking realization.